Welcome to the Flynn Effect podcast, where we dive deep into all things culture, industry news, and history, all with the goal of helping our clients to perform better. All right, well, Kelly Goforth, Chief Financial Officer here at Flynn, longtime friend. Welcome to the podcast for the very first time.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. I figured now is a good time. It's come up a few times, actually. We had an RFP recently where it came up, and we were having a conversation where it came up yesterday, just talking about like building a great culture and what it means to create a great place to work. You have been here a bit longer than me. Where are you at these days?
9 years. My
9 years.
anniversary is this week.
That's,
9
oh my
years.
gosh. Well, congratulations. We're lucky to have you. But I feel like whatever it was, 6 or 7 years ago, you and I sort of set out on this quest to go from being a good place to work. Like, people always enjoyed it here. We have a very long tenure of folks, which is something we're really proud of. Our average tenure right now is like, I think it might be up to like 14 years, which is insane.
Yeah.
But we really wanted to put some concerted effort into making this a great place to work. And that meant some changes in benefits and some, changes in how we approach our values and things like that over the years. So figured we could just share that a little bit.
Okay.
Where should we start? What do you think was the biggest change that made an impact?
Well, I was thinking about this, and there's been, there's different kind of buckets, I feel like. There's the benefits piece, and there's kind of the fun stuff. And then there's just the general, like, how does it feel to work here?
Yes.
Like, the kind of, you can't really put your finger on it, but how does it feel? And I think that's where it started.
I agree.
Because it became that whole nobody's too good to be a jerk situation.
Yes, which we say often.
We say it often, and it was really scary to have people that are maybe really, you feel are so important to the operations in your business that you can't have them leave.
Yeah.
And we discovered that even though it's scary, it's always the right decision. And so once I feel like we started kind of feeling comfortable in doing that and being courageous, and also hiring in that way.
Agreed.
Making sure that we were hiring the right type of people. Nobody wants to be around people that are jerks. And we spent a lot of time together as coworkers, spent a lot of time here working, and it needs to be enjoyable.
It sort of sucks the air out of the room too. Like, and it doesn't have to be that pronounced. It can be really subtle, or it can be like a little passive aggressive, but it just makes people feel sort of like icky,
Right.
And I do think we've done a really good job of having sort of a almost like a zero tolerance policy for that. It has been a number of years really since I've had to sit down with somebody and be like, that was not a cool thing to do, and let me explain why. But when that has happened, I feel like we correct really quickly and move in a different direction quickly also if it doesn't work. Like, we're just trying. Kevin used to say this all the time, like, we want this to be the best place that people have ever worked. Like, we want people to say that when they're, in their 70s and 80s looking back on their time here.
Right.
And so it does mean making hard decisions sometimes.
And I think the other piece of that is we might not always know things that are happening.
Yeah.
But people have to feel comfortable and doors are open and that their voice is going to be heard to come and tell you, like, this happened. And to feel that we're listening to them, because you can't be eyes and ears everywhere all the time.
Yes.
So that's part of it too. Having that voice, having that all brains in the game. I mean, that's kind of another flip side to that. But just because you're maybe an entry level person doesn't mean that your opinion and your thoughts don't matter. So that goes from the whole gamut to client work to if something bad happens to you, like, we're always going to listen. So that's another piece of it, I feel like.
Yeah. I agree with you there. And I think also we have been through a few iterations, I guess, of the list of values that we put out there in the last 5 years or so. A lot of them are similar concepts. It's not like they like materially changed.
Right.
But I think you're right in terms of hiring practices. Like, we really focused on a few things. You have to have the skills that are required of the position, obviously. But a lot of what we were looking for is, number one, are you just a good human being? Like, do you put off a good vibe and you get on well with the team and all of those things? A lot about having a growth mindset and being self-driven. Like, we are an organization where you're not going to have somebody like towering over you, micromanaging you all the time. We want people who can kind of go off and do their own thing and like feel motivated to do that, without having to be told what to do.
Right. They find the excitement in figuring it out on their own.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Especially because we're a small organization. Like, it is required of us to be nimble in order to
Mhm.
service our clients in the way that we want to. And so it's been a fun expedition, finding those people. I always think it's so hard. Like, you get some exposure with like a pre-screening call and then an interview. Like, it's one of my least favorite things about my role is I usually interview, I would say, the vast majority of people who we bring in.
Yeah,
It is so hard to know
it is.
if they're a good fit in an hour. Like, you just
Mhm.
can't learn what you need to learn in that period of time.
Yeah.
And I always think it's interesting. I know lots of companies, have not like tests, but like games that they do or have
Mhm.
people present or all these things. And still, it's like, I think sometimes you just got to go for it and see what that person is
Sometimes
like.
it's a
But
gut feel, and a lot of times, I mean, your gut can be wrong, but
yeah,
and it's happened, but yeah, generally, and we try to have a lot of different people talk with them,
yeah,
without it being oppressive of
yeah,
too many iterations,
yeah,
but it is important because we're so collaborative to have a lot of people have that input and meet the person and
right.
see what their gut feel
Yeah,
is.
totally agree. Now, so that's sort of the first bucket. The second bucket is sort of like benefits related.
Mhm.
And I think there are a few things that we have put in place there. So maybe we can talk about those next.
Yeah, I think the biggest one was the flexible PTO.
Hmm.
I think it was 2018 that we started that.
Okay. It's a
Um,
long time.
it's a long time. Other people might call it unlimited PTO. We called it flexible PTO. We put a lot of thought into that policy and
Hmm.
how it was going to interact with other things like leaves and other anomalies that might come up, for any type of case. But
Yeah.
we've really had success with it, and, there's different peer groups that I'm in that talk about trying to implement these plans and are always like, "How does this work?" And
Yeah.
but our people respect it, and it
Yes.
just takes the pressure off not knowing that, "Oh, I don't have as many days accrued as I need to take this
Yeah.
vacation," and having to talk with your manager about it. I mean, we still have an approval process. You still have to put it in
Yeah.
a calendar to get approved to make sure we have coverage. I
Right.
mean, there's lots of steps there, but you don't have to worry about if you have enough in your bank.
Right.
And generally, people don't abuse it. So
Right.
we're really lucky that we have a great staff that appreciate it as such
Yeah.
a nice benefit and aren't gonna abuse it.
Totally. And I think it's one of those things where, we never really cared if people were like going to a doctor's appointment or something in the middle of the day,
Hmm.
but it does take the pressure off of being like, well, no, it's fine. I'll just put in an hour of PTO and, it's not going to be a big deal. I'll just let people know where I
Right.
am. And I think we have this approach of just treating people like they're adults, right? Like,
Right.
you can handle your stuff. You know your workload. So like, as long as you're getting that done to satisfaction in terms of the level of quality and the timing and all of those things, and as long as you're available for client meetings as needed and internal meetings and all of those things, like, you can kind of just handle your business, like,
Right.
do what you got to do. And I think also just from an operational perspective, it's less administrative work to have to track all of
It
that,
is. Yeah. Yeah.
So benefits to all,
And
really.
I think going hand in hand with that too is just kind of that you kind of touched on it, but that flexibility and it comes from top down, like, for you as an owner, understanding people have lives, like,
Yeah.
sometimes things come up, and it doesn't mean they're not gonna get their job done, but right this minute, I have to go home because my kid is sick, and they got
Yes.
called from school.
Yes.
And I remember when I first started here, that happening to me. I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old at the time,
Yeah.
and one of them was sick, and I had to suddenly leave because they got the call from daycare, and feeling very anxious about it because I don't
Yeah.
think I had been working here very long. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, I already had to leave." So I get home, and I got an email from Kevin
Yeah.
saying, "How's he doing?"
Yeah.
Like, hours later, I was like, "You gotta be
Yes.
kidding me." Like, that is, like
Yeah.
it just shows that he really cared, and
Yeah.
it
It doesn't
wasn't.
happen everywhere.
Yeah, no,
Totally.
absolutely not. So, that's part of that feeling. It comes across
Yeah.
to everybody.
Yeah. I feel like I understand that even more so now that I have become a parent is how important that flexibility is. Like Grayson
Yeah.
has the bubonic plague every 4 weeks, you know? Like I was out for a whole week 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
because especially with the whole 24-hour rule, like you just can't take them back forever.
No.
They're just
Yeah.
going to be home for the rest of their lives.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it certainly makes a difference. And obviously post COVID, and since everybody now has setups at home, like it does make it that much easier to be like, okay, during nap time or, if you
Right.
have an opportunity, you can still check in and do what you need to do.
Yeah. You can still you're not totally whited out off the record.
Right.
You
Right.
can still get some stuff done.
Yeah. Remember when we used to like have an intranet where we would like sign out?
Yeah. VPN.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So wild.
Yeah.
Times have changed quite a lot in the last 8 years. It
Yeah.
actually is wild. But yeah, I think that one's a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's gone a really far way with our folks feeling supported. I think another one is profit sharing. So we
Mm-hmm.
put that program in place probably 5 years ago, I
Mm-hmm.
would guess.
Yeah. That sounds right.
And that's been really great. We've basically just said like, if the agency is doing really well, we want you to do really well. Like you are all the reason why the agency is doing well. And so like, we all deserve to sort of like,
Benefit from that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say like bask in those spoils. You know what I mean? And so not every year is amazing. Like we haven't had profit sharing these last couple of years because it's just not been strong financial years. Been tough times in the agency business, as anybody who works in the agency
Mm-hmm.
business knows. But it's there, and it's something that people know that if we are going to do well, that we're going to be sharing in that. Which again, it happens in a lot of places, and obviously there are organizations that are ESOPs and there are different programs in place. But we have one that basically the better we do, the better everyone does, which I like that system as opposed to, hitting a number and then everybody gets a flat fee.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the better we do, the better you do.
Right. And as part of my other half of my role, the finance side,
Yeah.
we do quarterly updates to the employees so they understand how we're tracking for the year. So they're not totally blindsided that,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, there's not going to be profit sharing this year
Right.
or this year is going to be good.
Right. It's not like Christmas
It's
vacation.
not a big, yeah,
Yes.
Jelly of the Month Club.
Yeah.
No. We try to keep people communicate that,
Yeah.
at least on a quarterly basis. So
Yeah.
that helps.
Totally. And I think those types of things that help incentivize people to feel like they're a big part of it help too. Like we've always had a new business commission program. If somebody initiates, the first call and we close it, like you get 5% net revenue for 2 years, which is amazing. And this is a relationship business. So,
Mhm.
so many of our client relationships have come from relationships like that.
Mhm.
Which I think is wonderful too. It's not something everybody feels totally comfortable taking advantage of, but it is there, if
Mhm.
people want to.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else. We also addressed parental leave.
We
So
did.
maybe you can talk a little bit about that because we tried to make that as sort of all encompassing as we could, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, and it kind of goes hand in hand, as I mentioned, with the flexible PTO policy, because you could just, if we didn't have a policy in place, say, well, I'm going to take flexible PTO for the
Yeah.
next 3 months. And another piece of that is we do pay for our life insurance and short-term disability coverage for all employees.
Mhm.
So the short-term disability goes hand in hand with maternity leave.
Right.
But we do have fully paid 8 weeks for a birthing mother. And then we have a parental leave portion if it's an adoption or for the father of a birth,
Yeah.
where they get a shorter portion. But we kind of started there, I think, and you and I both kind of thought, hopefully we can extend this even
Yes.
as we grow and as we feel more comfortable with how this works, to make it even better.
Yeah.
But it was a really nice start because before it was just you just use your short-term disability
Yeah.
policy and that coverage if you have it.
Right.
So
Well, and I think the important differentiator there is it's 8 weeks full pay, but people can still take extended time
Could take
there
more.
that might,
Right.
Get covered by short-term disability or those types of
or
things.
at that point, it would probably be paid family leave, which is
Yeah.
New York
Oh, right,
State
right.
coverage that we have, where they would get a portion of their salary, and that's all run through a coverage through the state.
Yes. Yeah. And totally. We figured, we're like 20 people right now. So there's only so much you are at a disadvantage as a small company in
Yeah.
terms of benefits, unfortunately. You just don't get those like bulk discounts that the massive companies do.
Mhm.
But we try to put, as much supportive benefits in place as we can. I think totally, we'll continue to address those and make them as strong as we can. I have some friends who work at like massive organizations who get 6 months paid leave, which I
Right.
think is so amazing.
Right.
I so wish that we were able to offer something like that. The other thing I really want to offer, and I'm very passionate about this, is family planning and fertility benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there's not really an option right now there's nothing that's like partial pay. You basically just have to like pay it.
It's self-funded.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's basically, you would say to your employees, we will cover up to X amount, but it's
Yeah.
coming directly out of your pocket. There's
Right.
no like insurance that helps mitigate some of the costs for you.
Right. Which maybe that'll come down the line. Who knows? Especially as fertility issues are becoming more and more prominent. My son is via IVF, and we were very fortunate that my husband, again, works at a very large company that offered a fertility benefit. So it offset some of those costs. But it's something we definitely keep our eye on. We've asked our broker to keep their eye on too and come up with creative solutions, because it's just one other thing that is so stressful for people if you are going through those types of, issues or challenges, to not have to like bear the brunt of the full cost of those, which are wildly expensive.
Sure.
One round is like $20,000. It goes a really, really long way. So fingers crossed that either the benefit options get much stronger in the next few years, or that we're just able to come up with something creative.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Now, I think the third bucket you mentioned is just the fun stuff. And I feel like we were really good when we were taking all this on, of being like, okay, we had the fun stuff down. Like we did a lot of that stuff already, but that we were trying to get to the feeling, like how you feel when you're leaving work. But the fun stuff still matters. So, let's talk a little bit about the stuff we do on an annual basis.
I think another piece that we didn't talk about that kind of goes back with the last section is recognition. And one which I love is our shoutouts. So it's peer recognition. People can throw in a name with a reason why for that month this person did an amazing job. We read them out at a staff meeting, give a prize to one of the winners. And it's just a really nice way to recognize each other and the good work that we do. And we have other things in place with spot bonuses and stuff that comes from management, but that peer recognition is really nice.
Yeah. Well, and the end of year awards that we do are also voted on by the entire staff, and then SMT goes through and makes final calls if we need tiebreakers or things like that. But totally, it just feels good to know that the people that you work with every day see your hard work.
One of the fun things that makes me think of that, because it's something we do also at staff meetings, is we have a random lunch. So we just kind of pick random people, try to mix them up with different departments, try to do people that maybe don't work together all the time.
Yeah.
Pick 4 people. You can either go out to lunch, you order lunch in, and we do a group like that every month. So it's just a nice way to connect on a smaller scale with some of your coworkers.
Yeah.
So there's that one. We could talk about Thirsty Thursdays.
Thirsty Thursday is a good one.
And those have been around since before I was here.
Yeah.
With different name and different days throughout the years. But
it used to be Fridays because that was, heading into the weekend.
Right. But now that
what was it called?
I think it was Beer Friday.
Yeah.
And then during COVID, we had Zoom. I don't know if we did them on Fridays or Thursdays, but just to try to stay connected. But we have options for a drink. You can grab a soda, you can grab a beer, sit down and catch up with everybody before the weekend. So people really like that, and it's a nice way to again connect with their coworkers.
And we're in office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so it makes sense for us to do that on Thursday because people are at home on Fridays.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
Golf tournament.
We have a golf tournament in the fall. We do a bowling event at Radio Social typically in the spring, which was always a great event. We've had company picnics before with families. Not an every year thing, but that's always fun. Just at a local park, and we get a bounce house and food truck and stuff.
We do. I feel like we do try to welcome and integrate people's families in as much as we can, whether it's through those picnics or we've always welcomed everybody's children on Halloween. We do trick or treating at 4:00 on whatever day we select that's closest to the actual day. And even I remember as a kid coming here for Take Your Kid to Work Day, that was always really special.
Yes.
And I think people, I mean, you bring your kids in here sometimes,
They
like,
were here on Monday.
yeah, like we're a very kid friendly, dog friendly
Yeah.
place too.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that we are dog friendly. Not everybody brings a dog in very often, but it's
Yeah.
an option and it always makes everybody really happy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
There's some other things too that we've done that are more health related, like steps and sips we
Yes.
do,
I love steps and sips.
which we need to do another one. It's a
I
good
need
time in
an
the
accountability
summer.
partner at all times.
Yeah.
Like essentially what that is we just track our steps and how many ounces of water are being drank,
Yes.
drunk,
Yep.
drank per day. And usually it's for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Right. And you're assigned to a team, so then you
Yeah.
can kind of try to rib each other, motivate each other.
It's a good Kickstarter.
It is just to stay moving and
Yeah.
so yeah, we need to do it. We need to get another one of those on the
Yeah.
books.
Yeah, probably. Especially because now it's not like oppressively hot outside.
Right.
So we can actually walk.
A fall steps and sips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot, and some, again, more table stakes. Some that I think just took time and energy for us to pay attention to, like, slowly, and it's made an impact over that period, as opposed to, it was one big, huge change. But I do think, 2023, we were on the Ad Age Best Place to Work list, which we were so excited about. We've been really fortunate to be featured on a lot of, top workplaces lists in the Rochester area as well. And again, I mean, we're just trying to make this the best place that people have worked before. And so we continue to use that as our guiding light when we're making decisions.
Absolutely.
All right, Kelly, any last words?
I don't think so.
All right, sister. Thank you so much.
Thank you.